Alright, we're gonna start by saying all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Harakah, Kadash. Double wonders unto the apostles and elders of great millstone and rule well. And shalom to the whole four elect.
Shalom. Shalom.
This is, just open forum. You got anything?
Yeah.
Go ahead, you can kick it off.
Matthew 11:7. And as they departed, Yahushua began to say unto the multitudes concerning John, what went ye out to see? No, what went ye out into the wilderness to see? A reed shaken with the wind. But what went ye out for to see? A man clothed in soft raiment. Behold, they that wear soft clothing are in the king's houses. But what went ye out to see? A prophet. Yes, unto you more than a prophet. Yeah. So, with this truth, with the men of the Lord, it's been it's been a thing for a while. The way that Jake liked to receive their message, man. They want it, smooth and slick and mad presentable. And that's been, that's how Jake's been from the jump. Even with going back to Saul, it was like, because he was tall and dark. That was, that was what they were put.
They say it's dark. But
Yeah. I was,
yeah, I know what you're saying.
Tall, dark, and
Handsome.
yeah. It's good. He might have looked visually like what they would have thought the ideal of
A king.
a king is, but then it's what comes down to greater factors, man. It's really how man deal through the spirit, and that's where you have the big difference where Saul had that rebellious spirit, and what rebellion's as a sin of witchcraft. Man was instructed and didn't follow the instructions. But then, David, where he was man after the Most High's heart. So and he's followed the instructions, and he had an abundance of faith, man. That's why when he saw Goliath, he was just like, yo, what this uncircumcised monkey, mate? What's going on? Well, okay. It says, for this is he of whom it is written, behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way before thee. Verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, they have not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Notwithstanding, he that is the least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. Yeah, there's John the Baptist, the job that he had, which is preparing the way for Yahweh Shai. That's legendary. And that was what Elijah and the Spirit, and that's the same thing with what is it, Malachi, where it says I'll send Elijah again before the coming of the great and terrible day. So that's the elder Abba Bivens was basically came, prepared the way as well, and brought this truth back into the minds, brought back to the forefront, and then from there it's gone down the line, and basically just it's blown up to where it's like now it's on a massive scale where the truth is out, and that was all started from one man, and that's how the Lord gets down. The Lord has his men, and that's the thing is the Lord men come back in the same office, same lot. So that's what just like with how came as John the Baptist to prepare the way for Yahushua. It's now a similar thing where it's bringing the word back and it's preparing for what? For Yahushua to come back, and rather than where he came before as a man, who was able to be put up on a cross and executed. Now he's coming as a force, man, as a conquering dominator of the earth, man, coming to basically collect all the crowns from all the rulerships and set up the kingdom of heaven. That's why it's like now he's not going to meet you as a man. It says what every eye is going to see him and they will pierce it. So that's why it's a legendary job. But that's the thing. That's the Lord. And these things are set from from before the world was made, man. The Lord, that's what His prophecies are set up. The Lord has His men and His certain officers set up. That's how He gets down. That's why it's like even what's going down in the present times. These things have all have been planned out beforehand. And when we give it's like when we go into the prophecies of the end times, then we've been given the keys of understand what's going down, like Mark of the Beast, World War III, this economic system being switched over. These things are in the scriptures, but then what? It's like the day that's reserved unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So certain we know what to watch for, but it ain't like we can tell you okay it's gonna be on the 29th day of the 8th month of whatever year. And that's his way of telling these false prophets. So it says
I've got two precepts quickly.
Okay, go ahead.
1 Corinthians 14:32, and the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets.
Yeah, spirit of the prophets are subject to the prophets. So that's why it's like if you're a prophet in past time, then you'll come back as a prophet again. Same as if you're a false prophet in past time, you're gonna come back as a false prophet again. That's why it's like you have the generations of the men that were always killing the prophets, man. That's why they were getting cursed. Yahushua was cursing them out. So you did always resist, man. Because they were in that same spirit. They were in that same energy of being against the word, against Yahushua. Because Yahushua is the word. So them being against that truth coming out, that it's the same spirit. We're going.
Not
that
one.
one, yeah.
1 Corinthians 4:9. For I think that the Most High have set forth us, the apostles, last, as it were, appointed to death. For we are made a spectacle unto the world, and to angels, and to men.
Yeah, apostles were sent last, and that's what you had. And now you got the apostles that basically been pushing this word 20 plus years, 30 plus years even. And hey,
it's been at 36. He said it this week just gone, I believe.
Yeah,
So.
This thing's it's at the end, man. Because it's really been evidently clear from when 2020 kicked off, the way that year kicked off, and then 2021 keeping pace. It ain't stopped, and it's like when you deal with the prophecies, they're being fulfilled left, right, and center. Like those final prophecies, it's like the situation with Iran. That really hasn't since Trump got in office and like deaded the deal. It's been an escalation since, and that's not calmed down. The main thing is their nuclear program, which they ain't fucking cut off for the longest, and they're not looking to. And then when you deal with the Mark of the Beast with the implantable chip, you had it mentioned by the Pentagon about saying as a treatment for this this C-19, saying you get an implantable chip that will detect it in your bloodstream or whatever, and then you can administer X, Y, Z. These things it's getting pushed out. They said, they're looking to do tests and blah blah blah. You got the Elon Musk, Neuralink. These things, and they've done like 2, maybe 3 presentations. I think it's 3 separate ones, and they put like a video out on YouTube as well. So yeah, these it's prophecies there. It's evident. And that's why it was what the apostles lost, and then it's done. It's a wrap. So back in we read this Matthew 11 and 12, and it says, and from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. For all the prophets and the law prophesied unto John, and if you will receive it, this is Elias which was for to come. Yes, is Elijah which was for to come. And that's not something everyone can receive. That's why it says if you can receive it. That's the thing with all this truth. Like I said, Yahushua is a volume of the book, and If you go to, I think it's John 1, where it says like he went unto his people and they received him not. So that's even among this was the nonsense of that, you know, universal Catholicism doctrine, where, you know, everyone on the planet Earth is meant to just be getting down with Yahweh Shai. Even amongst Israel, not all Israelites are gonna get down with Yahweh Shai. There's gonna be a small, a little number that actually get down with the word, the truth, and abound in it. But the majority of Jake are gonna be enemies. So then, how much more so the enemy? The heathen. Well, same thing. Because the heathen, when you go into a Psalms 83, it says what, you know, the enemies of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. And that's what it lists all the heathen. Because they're not going to be down with the truth. The word is not in their favor to you know, to be dealing with truth. So it says what he that hears there, let him hear. Verse 16. But whereunto shall I liken this generation? It is like unto children sitting in the markets and calling unto their fellows and saying, we have piped unto you and you have not danced. We have mourned unto you and you have not lamented. Yeah, we're dealing with Jake. It's we've piped onto you. It's with this word. This you know, this is a song. This is a dance, and that's you among Jake. Like I mentioned, the majority of Jake aren't getting down with the dance, man. They're dancing to Esau's tune. They're thinking about maintaining in Babylon. They're thinking about building up. They're thinking about that black identity. They're thinking about making money. They're thinking about success or fame or women or whatever that, you know, within the bounds of Babylon, man. Their minds are stuck or imprisoned within the system, because that's why it's to you know, to be freed from that, you really need Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai needs to give you the key, the wisdom to realize, yo, what's going on. Well, actually, I can read this because it's kind of it's pretty much on the point. Oh wait. Okay, no, it's the next one. First Corinthians. Da, 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 da. Okay, 1 Corinthians 1 and 26. For ye see your calling, brethren, how not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called. Yeah, so when it comes to this word, it says what? Not many wise men after the flesh, you know, just wise than carnal means. There's, you know, cite like an example of, what the fuck is that guy's name? That bait Jake astrophysicist guy that's everywhere. I can't even remember his name right now. I remember his face. But I don't know, any Jake kind of what they call them, not intellectuals, they call them like professor or word evades me right now. But it's those men of you know, up in esteem, where you see them on TV talking about, okay, yeah, you know, different scientific theories or whatnot. Those kinds of men, they're not the ones the Lord's going to be going to. Because as far as in the world, those men are respected and revered. But for, you know, for carnal means, man, and science is falsely so called. And it says what, not many mighty, not many noble. So, you know, not many of those like boxers or MMA
Athletes,
athletes as well. Yeah, all those guys in those tiers of fame, you know, like LeBron. How likely is he to be to get down with you know, with the truth? This guy's thinking about NBA championships. That's, you know, he's not thinking about the word. But that's, and this is what, and not many noble. So we would have to have some form of standing within this society. You know, like you even have Jakes like over here in the UK. You have Jakes that get like peerage, so they'll be in like either the House of Lords or they'll be in, MPs, so they have to go up in Parliament and they're rubbing shoulders with with the Prime Minister and with the Queen and whatnot. These guys are up in the power structures of Esau. The Lord ain't really looking to go to them. Them guys are entrenched within Esau's system, man. They're staunch guards of Esau's system. They're thinking about trying to make life better for black people through Esau's system, man. They're thinking about passing laws, or they ain't even really thinking about like reparations. But they're anything they're looking to do, they're looking to do it through Esau's system. Which, if they're doing that, they ain't gonna work. When it comes to Yahushua, that don't mix. This kingdom is looking to be. It's gonna be done. It's gonna be kindling, man. This kingdom's gonna be on fire. That's what's looking to happen when Yahushua returns. So anything you're trying to achieve for it, it's gonna amount to naught. Go back to Matthew. So a little bit more. So it says what? Matthew 11:18 says, "For John came neither eating nor drinking, and they say he hath a devil. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, Behold, a man gluttonous and a winebibber, a friend of publicans and sinners. But wisdom is justified of her children." Yeah, so they're the issue no matter what. It wasn't a matter of what John or what Yahushua were doing. It was just they just didn't like them. And that's how it is. That's the thing with when you deal with the men of the Lord versus the rest of Jake. They've had an issue for the longest. That's why it's what Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets. It's those same prophet killing 2/3 that have been the issue, coming back time and again to fuck shit up, man, and to make problems, because that's really how it's been. When it comes to Israel, it's always been those same wicked elements fucking everything up. But yeah, it's gonna apply. It's what's it say? If they've called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much more so than the servants? When it comes to us, the servants of Yahushua, then it's like it's the same thing. We're coming in the same word, the same spirit, so they're gonna have that same issue, man. And then they're basically gonna be looking, to kill brothers, man. That's really the spirit a lot of these people out here are in. They hear the word, they get offended, man. But that offense, that's gonna be to their own detriment in the long run. You got anything?
No.
Let me get this. Daniel 7 and 11. It says, I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake, I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time. Yeah, so when America gets guppied, it's all the rulership of the heathen, that's going to be done away with, man. Because that's why it's Revelation 2:25, Psalms 2, where it says, asking me, I'll give you the heathen for thine inheritance. And it's like what you get, the rod of iron, and get power over the nations. That's a key part of that's as well. That's why you can't mix that Roman Catholicism, that modern Christian doctrine, with the truth of the scriptures. Because how are you going to have power over the nations, but then the nations are meant to also have power over the nations? If they're meant to be getting saved, they're getting the same reward. That'll make no sense. But that's why it's something for Israel only, and that's another issue. That's a point of contention that Jake will have with brothers bringing out the truth. You told them like, oh, only Israel's gonna be saved. They'll start getting upset, and that just shows how bugged out Jake are, man. They're really stuck in a mindset of of basically just being a Babylonian, man, being a citizen of Babylon, man. So it says what I saw in the night visions, behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory, and a kingdom that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion. Yeah, so that that dominion that Yahushua is going to receive, we're also joint heirs. So that's why we're going to receive the same reward. But that is dominion over the heathen. And that's how it's meant to have been from the start anyway. Jake was we go back to Deuteronomy. It says, I've chosen you to be a special nation above all the other nations on earth. That's how it's been. And this that's why there is a hierarchy, because that's why you have even with Esau being set up, it says what, set up over it, the bases of men. Because Esau is that the base of men when it comes to his kingdom, is the basest kingdom. And that's why everything's completely out of flux. That's why you have even that lie. This is the thing is Esau, these elites, when you're dealing with Esau's kingdom, it's they got the 1%, and then like even the 0.1%, and then like the 99%, which is everyone else. So these elites are basically dealing with, they're interacting with their system, their kingdom, in a completely different way from everyone else. But then what? It's among the 99%, everyone's all here hopped up thinking about equality and blah blah blah, and everything should be equal for everyone. You guys have been fed lies and BS, man. Even with the guys that they just know as the carnal like 1%, like Jeff Bezos and what's his name, and Bill Gates as well. These guys that have money, have billions. They're really put up there as like the top money guys within this kingdom. These guys are basically living a completely different experience from the guys on the bottom. These guys are running around able to just chuck billions of dollars into different things to make certain things happen. They're on the bottom. You're struggling to pay rent. You're barely able to put gas in your car. You're just about living paycheck to paycheck. That's the. But then people really think there's something of worth, something special going on here. All that it is because of that democracy. People have that illusion that they have some kind of stake within some kind of say within what goes down out here. But no, you just give you're presented what you're presented with. And that's why people are bugged out, man. They're really out here thinking that they have a say in this, and that's why they're mad invested in this kingdom, man. So it says, okay. So yeah. It says his dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts are four kings which shall arise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceedingly dreadful, whose teeth were of iron and his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the others which came up, and before whom 3 fell.
This is basically Esau's rulership, because the brother read earlier on before about the violent taking
The kingdom of heaven suffer violence.
by the hands of the violent, and the violent taken by force. So this is something that we've been subject to from the beginning, and Jake shows you how bugged out Jake are, because they don't even want a seat at the table. They want a seat at the table, but they
want at the same level as everyone else.
And the real reality is that they don't understand who they are, and it's actually amazing, because like the elites are really looking at it like, you know, they're manipulating them accordingly, because Jake keep on screaming equality, 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 and they don't understand that. That's like why are you saying equality in the first place? Because Esau made you what, 2/3 of a man, all right, or 3/5 of a man, should I say? So that's the whole thing that they've been aiming for, basically, to be noticed as a man, just as Esau thinks he's a man. But if they would take a moment to actually step back and think about why Esau made Jake 3/5 of a man, then it would lead them down it will open Pandora's box, basically, and lead them into to greener pastures, basically. But they don't see that, right? Because the God of this world has blinded them, all right? You got more? Okay.
Then I would know the truth of the 4th beast, which was actually no. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of the horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. I beheld an horn, same horn made war with the saints, and prevailed against them, until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. Yeah, so that's the thing, is Esau's he's run a campaign of destruction against Jake, and it's really from the transatlantic slave trade onwards. Esau's had a hand in systematically destroying Jake and keeping him on the level of a black, of a Negro, because once embedded within that, then they're separated from the identity of being an Israelite, but then as well mainly is separated from Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And then with Esau knows with that separation, then he has the liberty to do what he will. But that's the thing, is even with Esau's blessing, that's Esau's blessing. It says what, you by the sword shall thou live, and you take the yoke from off your neck. Because that's what the prophecy was set. It was the older will serve the younger, and Esau came out first. He's been trying to flip that. That's really been all he's been doing. And that's an end, because his truth's come out, and first of all, the word's gone out, man. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, the word's gone out. His prophecy's gone out. He said Esau's gonna have his season. He's gonna have his boundaries that you can't pass. So that's a wrap, man. That's all that these elite are attempting to frustrate this purpose. It's all in vain. You got something?
Yeah. 2 Corinthians 4:3. It says, "But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. Verse 4, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, who is the image of Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, should shine unto them." No, I read it. Yeah.
Oh, I think okay, you break it down.
Yeah, but basically, Yeah, the gospel's in. This is why Jacob basically lost. Because they walked out the way of understanding and in doing so, they're lost. They've gone astray from the gospel. So, as it tells you in the book of Isaiah, the 6th chapter, that basically they're gonna be in a state of mind until the rockets fall upon the earth, man, making it real to and fro, and destroying Babylon the Great, and making it the lake of fire and ultimately the desert wasteland where devils will inhabit, basically. I've got another one.
Mm-hmm.
It's the book of Romans 12:1. It reads, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yahweh, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto Yahweh, which is your reasonable service. Yeah, we are the Israelites, alright? And being an Israelite, true to the letter, is the embodiment of our name, alright? Which Israel goes back to the Hebrew Yasha'Allah, which means he is the prince of the power. So if we're a prince of the power, that means we're sons of the Heavenly Father, which is the King, alright? So in saying that, our service as the sons of the Heavenly Father is to be kings and priests, like it tells you in the book of Exodus 19. And ultimately, through Yahushua, we're able to obtain that said, kingship and priesthood, alright, as it tells you in Revelations, the 7th chapter. So reading on verse 2. And be not conformed to this world. This is the point. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Micah, the 2nd chapter, it tells you that about arise ye and depart. For this, basically, take your mind away from this place. Like, basically, you all get brainwashed, basically, through this word, alright? Wherein shall a young man cleanse his way? By the washing of the word. So you all cleanse your filthy mind from all the ways that you've learned in this world to be a holy and acceptable vessel unto the Heavenly Father. So that's why it says, and be not conformed to this world. So don't be conformed, move in the fashion of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, alright? That ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High Yahweh, alright? So that's the point. You got something?
Yeah. Jeremiah 5, Jeremiah 51:5. For Israel hath not been forsaken, nor Judah of his power, of Yahweh of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Flee out the midst of Babylon, and deliver everyone his soul. Be ye not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Yeah, so that's what, Israel, they've done all form of madness and wickedness, but they've not been cast away. For a season that was so, but even then it was in prophecy, man, because of what they need to be the fallen away first, and the man of sin needed to be revealed. Esau needs to be revealed, because this guy has been dodging and diving and hiding his identity over time. This guy needs to be exposed so that you can line him up with the scriptures and know, okay, this is what X, Y, Z. Set your nest among the stars, all other forms of prophecies that he's done. The eagle and his nest among in the clefts of the rocks. There's myriad scriptures that highlight, okay, who Esau is. Then the Lord basically had it come out, and then what? Then it's who Israel is as well. Because when you go to Deuteronomy 28, it says what? There'll be there'll be a proverb and byword, and these curses will be for a sign, and that's the thing. It's a sign of who the Israelites are, because it's real plain. You got in the scriptures, describes Yahweh as a black man. Describes Judah as black. You know, when you deal with the scriptures, who Jake is, them being dark skinned, and then who Esau is as well, and then he's cursed. He has leprosy. These things are outlined in the scriptures, but you know, it's the book was sealed. I can get that. Daniel 12:4. But Daniel, shut the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Yeah, so the word was sealed, and that's why Jake was in a complete confused state, not knowing who they are. Because once they went to cargo slavery, that they just became Negroes, man, and still are. A lot of Jake are still clinging to that black, but there's no power in that, man. Hamites are under that black, but they've been the longest, staunchest enemies of Jake for a while, man. Really, the only one that outdoes them is what's it? Amalek, man.
Oh, a precept.
Okay.
Proverbs 29:18. Where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. Yeah, so Jake, the wicked Israelites, basically, the reason why they don't have the faith is because they don't have the vision. And the Lord didn't open their eyes to see it. He made their eyes heavy, alright? As I told you in Isaiah the 6th chapter. But only the vision is given unto who? The 1/3 of the nation of Israel, which includes the 144,000, which basically are prophets, alright, or workmen within the faith, alright? And the prophets in times of old were known as what? The seers, okay? So they could see the vision, and they were visionary. So that's the same, anyone that's in the faith is a visionary, and what they envisioning? They're envisioning the kingdom of heaven. That's what's in their mind. We're looking for a new, a world wherein dwelleth new heavens and new earth. Alright?
And wherein dwelleth righteousness.
Yeah.
Because that's the key thing of Esau, man. Esau's the wicked, man. They're known as the border of wickedness. That's who we have presently with their hands on the globe, man, running this thing. And it's evident. Everything's gone out of course. Everything's a mess. Where, you go out, all kinds of this, the madness you just be hearing in the day of the news. You be thinking like, yo, we need to get the fuck out of here, man. That's what we need, that world where there's righteousness can be executed, man. Because right now, it's what the fuck? Everything's is a mess. Just for you to function as you're meant to in righteousness, that's not even, like, in many aspects, that can't even run. You might walk out your house and take a walk, and you have a woman that's going to be on a period or something go past, and then it's a wrap, man. You're unclean. And there's various scripture. There's all forms of ways where just existing in this place, it's all a mess, man.
For another precept. 1 Corinthians 7:29. For this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none, and they that weep as though they wept not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not. Right, and that makes me think of Psalms, the 2nd chapter. Kiss the psalm makes you be angry. And it says, when I rejoice in trembling, basically. But reading on, it says, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not, and they that buy as though they possess not. And that goes into the book of 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, where it talks about being pilgrims upon the earth. Alright? And Paul's speaking that same sentiment, that basically we ought to be pilgrims upon this earth. We're maneuvering, we've got jobs, we live in houses and homes and all this type of stuff, vehicles and whatnot. But it's really for a temporal use. It's to suffice in our movements of the day. Alright? But it's the point now, verse 31. And they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. Yeah, so hey, when you use this world, you don't abuse it. And what would be forms of abuse? Selling out. Alright? A man can only serve one master. Otherwise, we hate the one and love the other. So you can't serve mammon. Alright? You can't choose to equally serve mammon, because ultimately, when that word, that so-called word of equal, really means you're choosing one over the other. That there is no equal use. Alright? There's an equal use as a balance. Well, let me even say it like that. The kingdom is should be at the forefront of everything. But the point being, it says, and they that use this world is not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. This world's it's not gonna be here forever. Just like at one point, the Tower of Babel was a thing that no one knew would not come to, that no one thought would come to know. The Babylonian Empire, no one thought that would ever come to know. The Medo-Persian Empire, you know full well that ambassador that came to, Sparta had no thought in his mind that Persia was the apex of civilization upon earth, because their arrows could darken out the sun. That was the greatest level of technology before them at that time. There was nothing seen of that nature. But guess what? It's not here. Then you had the Greeks coming after. The Greco-Roman Empire, not here no more. You had the Renaissance. You had the Middle Ages. They ain't here no more. Right? Jake ruling in a corrupt fashion, speaking Greek in the Byzantine Empire. That ain't here no more. So what you find is the fashion is passed away. But as it tells you in the book of Sirach, the 12th chapter, the 10th chapter, that basically the Heavenly Father will set someone up to rule over the world that's righteous, and that being Yahushua. And that's why in Daniel the 7th chapter it says, I beheld till all the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit. Because all these kingdoms that are before us are going to be cast down by the hand of our Lord. That's why it says the Most High will set up someone righteous over it. And that's Yahushua. He's going to come back with many crowns on his head, because he's going to, the saints shall take the kingdom. Because the saints shall take the kingdom. Alright? And in taking it, Yahushua is going to establish the kingdom of heaven, a new earth, a new heavens, wherein dwelleth righteousness. A place where we can kick it.
Yeah, I saw it. I was like, I'm sure there's fucking hell.
Ain't no place I'd rather be.
Joel 3 and 1. For behold, in those days.
is probably in the sky.
For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Yahushua, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Yeah, that's, you know, Esau's his MO has been, you know, for the last couple of decades, is you know, everyone needs to just, you know, everything's fair now, everything's even, you know, we're all capable of living, you know, great and amazing lives. So just forget about the past, don't worry about any ills that were done to you, and just continue on. And you know, that's Esau essentially trying to escape from his punishment and his judgments for how he's operated on the earth since he came back into power during the time of the Renaissance. Because this guy's history is what colonization, and that's the thing, is first and foremost is reincarnation exists. So you are your foreparents, so you are the same spirit that came and did those acts that you're going to be judged for. That's where, you know, you're caught in a bind. Because they always try and throw out that, but it was, you know, my grandparents and blah. Even if they throw that aside, the whole system and empire that you built off the back of that has benefited fully from these acts that have been done.
It's lucky,
and you've not even been like, okay, yeah, we're gonna so to make it actually fair, we're then just gonna look back at how do we gain this, how do we gain that, how do we get and piece it off back to the people who who you robbed from. That shit will sit in the British Museum, or they'll just they'll still, like France, still having Haiti pay them for what do you call it, for the escaped slaves from hundreds of years ago. That's the man we're dealing with. This guy ain't forgotten. Even when you deal with World War II, Germany still pays to the state of Israel, for what apparently went down, during World War II. Now, they ain't forgotten that. They ain't just said, okay, throw that in the bin. So it's really a matter of Esau he doesn't want to be held to account for his sins.
But we had to suffer our sins.
Yeah.
I've got a quick precept on that point. Micah 7:9. I will bear the indignation of the Lord Yahweh, because I have sinned against him, until he plead my cause, and execute judgment for me. He will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. So there'll be a turnaround for us at some point. But until then, we have to bear the indignation of the Lord.
Yeah, because we did sin. We fell short. That's what he even said.
And in Psalms 50, I believe, you took on, Psalms 50, 16 and 17, you took on the covenant upon yourselves.
Well, yeah.